After Daniel Frost was fired for being too quiet, the company celebrated. What they didn't realize was that silence had been holding everything together. Daniel never raised his voice, never interrupted meetings, never fought for attention. They called him invisible, but when he disappeared, everything he protected vanished with him. Stay with me, because this story proves that the loudest people aren't always the most valuable. Daniel Frost had worked at Hartwell Solutions for 7 years. 7 years of arriving early, 7 years of leaving late, 7 years of solving problems before they became disasters. But Daniel wasn't impressive. He didn't dominate meetings. He didn't sell himself. He listened. And in a room full of people trying to be heard, that made him forgettable. His desk was near the back corner. No window view, no nameplate that caught attention, just organized files, clean workspace, a coffee mug that never moved. People walked past him every day without seeing him. The irony was thick. In an office of 40 people, Daniel might have been the only one who knew everyone's name. He remembered birthdays, asked about sick children, noticed when someone seemed off, but when they looked at him, they saw nothing remarkable. Just a man who did his job, quietly. Evelyn Hart, the new department head, noticed this immediately. She had been brought in to revitalize the culture. That meant visibility, energy, disruption. Daniel represented none of these things. He lacks presence, she told HR. Good worker, but not leadership material. Daniel overheard once. He was standing near the break room, waiting for the coffee to brew. Evelyn's voice carried through the thin walls. He didn't react, didn't storm in, didn't defend himself. He simply poured his coffee, added cream, and returned to his desk. Because he had learned something important in life, power doesn't argue, it prepares. And Daniel had been preparing for longer than anyone realized. What no one understood about Daniel was that he worked in layers. Surface-level reports filed on time, emails answered professionally, meetings attended without fuss. But underneath, he knew which vendor needed gentle reminders, which client preferred calls over emails, which system would fail if not checked weekly. He kept spreadsheets no one requested, documentation no one read, backup plans for scenarios no one imagined. Once during a winter storm, the server crashed at 2 a.m. Daniel was already logged in. He had anticipated it, monitored the weather reports, checked the server's vulnerability to power fluctuations, prepared a workaround. By morning, everything ran smoothly. No announcement, no credit taken, just work. His colleague Marcus once asked him, "Why don't you tell people what you do?" Daniel smiled quietly. "If I have to tell them," he said, "they wouldn't understand anyway." Marcus laughed, but he didn't realize Daniel was serious. The truth was simpler than Marcus could imagine. Daniel had tried explaining. Years ago, in his second year at Hartwell, he had documented everything, created process guides, wrote detailed reports, presented findings in meetings. People nodded politely, then ignored it all. They wanted results, not explanations. So Daniel stopped explaining and started simply delivering, silently, consistently. until his work became invisible, because it always worked. Evelyn believed leadership meant visibility. She spoke often, decided quickly, dismissed concerns easily. Her background was in sales. She understood momentum, confidence, the power of a strong pitch. What she didn't understand was infrastructure, the boring, unglamorous work that keeps everything running. Her first major decision was restructuring client communications. "We need to be more aggressive," she announced in her first all-hands meeting. "Push harder, close faster, no more hand-holding." The room erupted in applause. People loved confidence. Daniel sat in the back, expressionless, calculating. After the meeting, he sent Evelyn an email. Subject: client communication concerns. He laid out the data, retention rates, client satisfaction scores, historical patterns showing that aggressive approaches had previously damaged key relationships. He suggested a pilot program instead. Test the new approach with smaller accounts first. Evelyn read the first
happened
paragraph,
with the software
marked
upgrade.
it as unread.
Daniel explained
Moved on.
that the team needed
She had a
training
company
first.
to transform.
Evelyn pushed it through.
Over the following
They'll
months,
learn as they
a pattern
go.
emerged.
It happened
Daniel
with the
would
marketing
identify a
campaign.
problem,
Daniel
send a
pointed out
detailed
factual
email,
errors in the materials.
attend a meeting to
Evelyn
gently
launched
voice
it
concern.
unchanged. Perfect
Evelyn
is the
would
enemy
thank
of
him.
good.
Then
Each
do
time Daniel
exactly what she
documented
had
his
planned.
concerns.
It
Each time
happened
he
with
was
the
thanked and
vendor
ignored.
contracts.
Each time he said
Daniel
less in
warned
meetings.
that switching
One
suppliers
afternoon,
would
during a
create
quarterly review,
3-month
he
adjustment
gently said,
period.
"There's a
Evelyn
risk
switched
we're
anyway.
overlooking."
"We need
Evelyn
cost
smiled
savings
politely.
now," she said.
"Thank you, Daniel," she said. "We need decisiveness right now, not hesitation." The room nodded in agreement. Daniel leaned back in his chair and stopped offering warnings. Not out of spite, out of clarity. He finally understood. They didn't want his expertise. They wanted his compliance. 3 months into Evelyn's leadership, a major client complained, Anderson Technologies. They had been with Hartwell for 6 years, worth $800,000 annually. The CEO called directly. "What happened to the personal touch?" he asked. "Your new approach feels transactional." Evelyn was caught off guard. "We're streamlining for efficiency," she explained. "I don't want efficiency," he replied. "I want the relationship I had before." After the call, Evelyn held an emergency meeting. "We need to fix this," she said. The team looked uncomfortable. Someone finally asked, "What did we do differently?" Evelyn didn't know. She looked around the room. Her eyes landed on Daniel. "What would you suggest?" she asked. The room went quiet, all eyes on him. Daniel paused, considered his words carefully. "I would suggest," he said slowly, "that we listen before we decide." The words hung in the air, not because they were profound, but because they felt like criticism. Evelyn's jaw tightened. "That's not actionable," she said. Daniel nodded slightly. "No," he agreed. "It's foundational." The distinction was lost on her. That moment marked something. Daniel didn't know it yet, but he had just been labeled a problem. Not because he was wrong, because he made her feel wrong. And in corporate culture, that's often worse. The performance review came 2 months later. Daniel arrived on time, sat calmly across from Evelyn and Patricia from HR. Evelyn had notes prepared, bullet points, highlighted sections. "You're reliable," she began. "Your work is always accurate." Daniel nodded. "But reliability isn't leadership," she continued. "You don't advocate for yourself. You don't inspire the team. You don't contribute to our culture of innovation." Daniel listened without defending. Patricia glanced at him nervously, waiting for pushback. There was none. "You're not disruptive," Evelyn said finally, "but you're also not impactful." Daniel met her eyes, calm, steady. "I understand," he said. Evelyn looked surprised. No pleading, no defense, no emotion. "We think it's best if we part ways," she continued. "We'll provide a severance package, 2 months' salary, positive references." Patricia slid the papers forward. Daniel read them carefully, every word, every clause. Then he signed, dated it, slid the papers back. "Thank you for the opportunity," he said. He stood, shook both their hands, and walked out quietly. Patricia looked at Evelyn. "That was easy," she said. Evelyn nodded, but something felt wrong, like winning an argument where your opponent never fought back. Not because they couldn't, but because they didn't need to. Daniel's last day was a Friday. He arrived at 7 a.m., like always. He cleared his desk methodically. 7 years of work, packed into 2 boxes. A few people stopped by. Marcus brought coffee. "I can't believe they let you go," he said. Daniel smiled. "Things change. What will you do?" "Something different," Daniel said. He didn't elaborate. At 4 p.m., he sent his final email. "It's been a privilege working with you all. Best of luck with everything ahead." Short, professional, final, no forwarding address, no personal contact information, just goodbye. He walked out carrying 2 boxes. No fanfare, no farewell party, just the quiet click of the door closing behind him. On Monday morning, his empty desk looked like it had always been empty. Marcus walked past it, felt something odd, like a room that's suddenly too quiet. But he shrugged it off. Life at Hartwell moved on, or so they thought. 2 weeks after Daniel left, small things started failing. A vendor shipment arrived late. Critical components for a client project. "Did anyone confirm the delivery window?" the project manager asked. People looked at each other. No one had. "Who usually handles this?" Someone said quietly. "Daniel did." They scrambled.